Okay, so this is going to be a really important video. I'm going to talk about the future of news footage and also information on the internet, because Australia is leading the world at the moment. They're trying to push for Google and Facebook to pay for news footage. So, you've seen some videos where I've done, like, to say the Mike Tyson interview, and it's been on Channel 7 Sunrise, and I've done commentary and that, so forth, to make it compliant with YouTube. But of course, Channel 7 want YouTube to pay them some money, because they're getting 45% of my ad revenue from that video. So let's get stuck into it here, and I'll just run through. So here's this is an article from the BBC, and what I'll do first, I'll show you, because I started getting. Here we go. Let's get rid of this. Let's start here. So this is when I contacted Google support, because my views went down. I was going, what's going on here, guys? And I'm very vague. Thanks for waiting. This took like probably half an hour or so to get an answer back and forth as it goes. It seems there was just a temporary issue that affected an unspecified number of content creators, but I can confirm that YouTube is up and running again. And if in case it happens again, try to do a manual search by using the filter option to see if you'll be able to search your videos. So what was going on was I could not find my Mike Tyson video on YouTube and Google. Used all my keywords and everything, it just was not coming up. Right, so that led me to sort of think, what's going on here? So I came across that Safari article, that was 3 days ago. And what they're basically saying is the Australian government has urged Google to focus on paying for Australian content instead of blocking it, because Google's threatening to block all Australian content that's got to do with news, and maybe block the search engine altogether, Google search engine in Australia altogether. So they're playing a bit of hardball here, and so is Facebook. But the news organisations and Google, they're both correct, and they're both wrong at the same time. So they've got a fair point that they want to get paid for news content that say creators like myself put on YouTube, and also because that earns Google money, because they're part of Alphabet, Google and YouTube, part of the bigger company Alphabet. So this is just saying that. So it says here, Google said, here we go, where is it? The search engine said it was conducting experiments to determine the value of its service to Australian news outlets. So basically they were using me as a guinea pig to test how much revenue they're going to lose if they got rid of my content. They took it down for a couple of days. I just could not search for some of my content to do with news. So they're using a little walrus rider for a guinea pig. I turned from a walrus to a guinea pig, and they're probably just trying to work out how much it's going to cost them to get rid of all news channels in Australia, and probably don't think they'll demonetize the YouTube channels, but they'll you won't get any revenue, because you won't be searchable. They'll just take it out of the search thing, or maybe they will get you to take the content down. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure where this is going to end up. But it's not good news, guys, because as people have pointed out, there'll be a lot of fake news going around. It'll just be independent creators without any sort of editorial oversight and that sort of thing. Now, the other thing I want to look at is, does Google have a point as well, saying about not paying for news footage? Because what happens with news footage, and I've been on the end of this, and I'll show you here. There we go. So here we go. News 7 News actually used my video clip, my famous video clip, which I can show you here from Team Sky, and there we go. That's my famous video clip, and 7 News picked it up. Did not actually tell me they were going to put it on the news. Did not pay me a cent. Right, so they're actually making money off of my footage. So where's my cut, guys? 7 News. The news organisations are complaining to Google they're not getting their cut, and yet they go on to do the exact same thing they're accusing Google of, which is just taking their news footage without paying it, and they're doing it to me. They were taking my footage, and they were not paying me. And they can do that, and I can use their footage as well under fair use laws, you see. So if I'm doing commentary over the news footage, I can, legally get away with that, and they know it. And also, this is why a lot of people complain about me talking over interviews that are on TV channels, because I actually have to do it. And I'm sick of saying about it. I get abused in my comment section. And I'll tell you what, I actually block everyone that abused me on my comment section now, because I've just had enough. And if you've got any videos on your channel and you're actually getting monetized, well, you can actually get a community guidelines strike from YouTube as well for abusing me. So just don't do it. And I'll just show you. Let's have a look here. I'll show you, because I got my channel being demonetized because of news footage. So I'll show you this. Where is it? It's preview window 2, isn't it? There we go. So this was back in March 2019. You'll see there very clearly why they demonetized my channels. I had a lot of news footage on. This was when Meghan Markle was in Australia and that sort of thing, and I was doing a lot of news footage, and they said, I wrote to them and I said, I've heard back from the team. As a participant in the YouTube partner program, you must meet several content quality guidelines, they call it. He goes, we've included examples of content that don't meet the standards because it's seen as reused content. So I've got that circled there. This is content that does not provide significant original commentary or educational value. So that's why I do a lot of commentary and I keep stopping the video. Because you've actually... and also the if the news like Channel 7 or 10 or whatever want to claim copyright, and they've actually got to do the timestamps that are more. I know it's stupid, isn't it? The more I interrupt it, the better it is for me. Even though I believe it doesn't make the video that great to watch either, but that's the only way I can do it. And then it's also get there if you want to create content that can be monetized, some best practices. I've circled that as well. It says add commentary or show your presence in the videos, voice or on screen. Link back to your YouTube channel from your website, etc., etc. So yeah, it's all about transforming the original content that somebody else owns into something different, adding a bit of value to it, and then you can upload it to YouTube and monetize and that sort of thing. So, so really, YouTube are already looking after news organisations there, as in, they're using the same rules that they're using, because basically that's what Channel 7 did with mine. They put it on the news, they added a bit of commentary, and I can't really do much about it. Let's see if I can get there. And they're actually, I wonder if you can see that there. I'll just put this back. Nope, that's cool. I can move across. Just want to show you they got 38,000 views on it. So roughly making about $5 per 1,000 views at the moment. So basically made about $200 off of that. A lot of engagement. Also had a link to their news website there, using the traffic to promote themselves. And if you go to their news website, you'll see ads everywhere, so they're making money off of that too. So really, it's all about money. It comes down to it. It's all about money. They want to try and get a bit of a cut from it. But if YouTube, they're fairly strict. Man, I'm telling you, I keep on saying this. YouTube are getting very strict on what you can do on YouTube, how you put your videos up, and so forth, and for monetization. So it's going to be very, very complex. Oh man, why did they have to do this sort of thing? It's a big can of worms. But let's go. We'll put the media clip up here. So this was on 7 News, and this gives you an overview as well of what is going on. Get my little VLC player up and running. And I'll get this running here so you can have a listen to this.
Google is threatening to switch off its search engine in Australia unless the government stops plans to force it to pay for local news. Australia's leading a world-first crackdown on tech giants, the Prime Minister saying he won't respond to threats.
So we're pioneering this. This is going to happen worldwide if news agencies get attraction here and get some money off of YouTube and Google here and Facebook. You'll see that it will just spread worldwide like a cancer through the community, and you won't be seeing any news on your on Facebook and YouTube. Maybe that's worst case scenario.
For millions of Australians, Google and Facebook are the internet, a virtual monopoly that's raking in billions of dollars in advertising revenue every year.
It is our journalism that provides some of the main benefits that have allowed Google and Facebook to grow their business.
News businesses creating the in-demand content now want payment, supporting the government's world-first media bargaining code, forcing the digital giants to finally start handing over cash for content.
But as I said, that the news agencies, they don't get the content. They don't send, like, sometimes they'll send reporters out, but as you saw of my footage, they weren't there. I was the one creating the content, and they just stole it basically and reused it. So you can't have it both ways, guys. Most of the content that creates news channels is somebody else's content that you are repurposing, adding commentary, and as I'm doing here, it's like an endless loop, isn't it? I'm adding commentary to this one here and transforming it to put back on YouTube. So here we go.
If this version of the code were to become law, it would give us no real choice but to stop making Google search available in Australia.
That's a hell of a threat.
A threat which could cost Google heavily. Last year, it made $4.8 billion in Australia, but only paid $59 million in taxes.
Google takes content created by other people and makes profit off it.
Sarah, this is Sarah Hanson-Young. She's a complete Green. She's from the Green Party, complete lefty, clueless. It's like, I should write to her and say, look, as I've said many times on this video, that news agencies use other people's footage. Whenever you see a viral video being promoted on somewhere like The Project or on the news, you'll see it. Channel 7, 10, 9, ABC, SBS, they didn't create it. They used somebody else's content to garner views and also advertising revenue on their own programs. So really, they should just leave it alone. Stop opening this can of worms, guys.
You either have to share that profit or you've got to pay some tax.
Yeah,
Despite that warning, Facebook's also given the code the thumbs down.
Rather than increasing investment in news and journalism, it will have the opposite effect.
Arguing it prevents it from striking viable deals. And rather than threatening to disable its platform completely in Australia, Facebook says if the code isn't changed, it may resort to blocking news content on its site here.
Yes, I sort of covered that as well. It'll block it. So if you're a big news channel on Facebook or YouTube, you might actually get your channel taken down. Maybe. That would be worst case scenario, as I said.
Australia makes our rules for things you can do in Australia, but we don't respond to threats.
Google argues the code would break the way search engines operate. News businesses say if it's not made law, they'll be the ones left broken.
Yet the business model that funds this important journalism has been fundamentally undermined by the substantial market power of Google and Facebook.
Rob Scott, 7 News.
All right, guys. So, yeah. Okay, Guardian and 7, 9, 10, ABC and SBS. You've got to send your journalists out every time you want to do a news story then, because otherwise you're using other people's footage. That's really what it comes down to. Everyone's using everyone else's footage. As you saw, they're using my footage. Channel 10 did a video. I don't know if anyone saw it. This was back when the Rolling Stones were in Adelaide. I had some drone footage. This was way back before they had like rules on restricting drones. I was working with the Civil Aviation Authority here and helping them draft some guidelines, because this was really the cutting edge. Quite a few years ago, one of my first videos in Channel 10, I saw it on the news. I didn't even have time to record it. They were using my footage, never contacted me. And what was worse for them, they actually put my footage on their servers, which is really bad. They put my footage on their servers and was getting ads, so I was not getting even a link back to YouTube for me to gain any views. So that's the ultimate of just being total pricks, basically. So I'm not happy with Channel 10. So there we go. So what else can we talk about here? I think that's about it. I think I've covered that. We'll do some more videos later on tonight, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, bye.